Welcome to the Service MVP podcast. My name is Joe Crisara, America's service sales coach. And today we have a very special guest. We have Nathan Keller from Free to Grow. Nathan, welcome to the program. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Happy to be here.
Well, it's definitely, we've known each other for a little while now, and definitely every time I speak with you and your partner, Charlie, I definitely feel a warm and fuzzy feeling down my spine because you are here increasing the customer service for the service contracting industry by your amazing service that you offer. Nathan, could you go ahead and just give us a little outline of how you and Charlie got started with this, and
Sure.
just a little bit about what you're trying to do with Free to Grow so people understand that?
Absolutely. So, Free to Grow was born of kind of a meetings between Charlie and myself. Charlie and I go way back. We actually met in middle school. So grew up, went to high school together, everything else. So we're lifelong friends. He and I were both at some transitional periods in our career. I've always been in sales and operations, more on the technical side of the world, and as far as like technology. And Charlie had two small contracting businesses that he was in the middle of selling. And he just, we were talking, and he had this pain point of, customer service specifically with the size of his business. He always talked about, I have to have someone in the seat, but they're not quite busy enough for a full-time position, but I need that person there, right? I need someone that is available for answering calls and moving things around, whatever that might be. So we kind of looked at this. We're based out of St. Louis, Missouri. We kind of looked at it more of a local deal for a while, and started pitching this to contractors here. We were not zeroed in necessarily on HVAC, electrical, or plumbing, or garage door as we are now. We were just kind of shotgun approaching it, right? Just taking it to anybody and everybody to listen to us. So we actually got a couple customers signed up that were more home remodeling type contractors, and then worked our way into the tree service business. And then, kind of fast forwarding to now, we're really focused in that trades area of HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. That's our growth spot right now. Those are our highest volume of customers are in that industry. And our talent, right? The agents that we're bringing on, the customer service reps that we're bringing on, all have that kind of experience behind them. And from our side, it's such a better way of servicing, a smaller, I won't say smaller sect, but a closer group of customers, as opposed to this shotgun approach to anything having to do with home service businesses.
Right. I noticed that one thing I will add to that is that all that you're making a meticulous effort that which is as leaders to make sure that those agents who are going to be customer service reps for those companies are trained. And one thing that makes me proud is that it makes me proud of our team is that you've chosen Service MVP to help train those people, and that they're kind of Service MVP certified customer service reps. So you have a third party, which is it takes a lot to do that. Could you explore a little bit about why that kind of third party inspection of the quality process is important to you and Charlie?
Yeah, for us, it's consistency, right? Because as we're trying to scale our company, we need to make sure the service is consistent all the way across the board with anybody that we bring on. We had a couple big thrusts that we were looking at the end of 2022, and training was kind of towards the top of the list. And I think that's right around the time that we started engaging with you guys. I think Charlie may have bumped into you a few times at some trade shows here and there. But knowing that you guys are the standard from the service training side of it, especially on customer service and the sales piece of it, it was a no-brainer, right? We just knew that we had to have something. We're going to go out and find good folks that are capable of working remote, that are accountable people, that have HVAC, electrical, or plumbing experience. That side of it, though, we want to make sure it's consistent, right? So having a new agent come on, that's the biggest piece is, okay, you're going to come in, you're going to shadow with our folks, but then you're also going to be immediately signed into training, and you have to get through a certain number of modules before we even think about turning phones over to you and having you assigned to any sort of accounts. So,
well, Free to Grow has shown that the joy of customer service is in the heart of from the top to the bottom of the company. From what I've seen, and I've graduated some of those employees, they all have in their heart the joy of service. They take joy and care in what they do. And so that's really great that you're finding those people. Nathan, let's go ahead and continue on with the agenda for today's meeting, which is 3 steps that you think contractors could do to improve their customer service to their clients, which would help make their service more valuable, if you don't mind. So the 3 steps to improving your customer service, Nathan, what do you think? What's step number 1 do you think people could do as service contractors to improve that level of service?
So customer service, obviously the biggest thing right now is the top of the pyramid, with what we do, what anybody does. If you have your marketing efforts out there, but you're not answering the phone or you're not getting back to people in a timely manner, 1, you're wasting money, and 2, you're just going to get terrible reviews, right? You have to have somebody, whether it's the owner of whoever it might be, or a company like ours, there to be able to capably answer the phone, answer questions, and be the smiling voice right behind the phone. Most of the time, a lot of the time, our customers are calling for things that they don't want to call about, right? Their AC's out, they're having plumbing issues, or their electricals, on the fritz, whatever that might be. Having that warm person that's going to really disarm, make them feel better, make them feel like we're going to get them taken care of is a big deal. A lot of contractors, especially of a certain size, think that they can't afford that, but they don't understand that it's really hurting their business too, right?
Yeah, it's like I would say the best ability a company has is the availability. So when you get the call, you answer the phone, because so if you're not there to answer the phone, then all that money with marketing, or if you're paying those lead generation services like Angie or these different lead generation services, you're paying for those leads in some way, shape, or form, whether it's to your website or something like that. It's really not very financially responsible to not have the availability to have a professional answer that phone. So to make sure you have a professional, welcoming voice, because that is like the front door of the company, right? Would you agree? Like the lobby of our hotel, if you will.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think a lot of times too, from an owner's perspective, when we talk to them or anybody else, just kind of tailing off to another aspect of this, is there's so many that don't understand what their volume is, right? They have no idea what they're missing. They have no idea, even though they're spending money on marketing, they're not actually looking at the numbers, right? We're looking at it all day long of, what we're booking for across the entire company and what we're doing on an individual company basis, abandon rates on calls, everything like that. I'm not saying, the contractors are going to know to get into it from that level, but not even having an understanding of what might be coming in on a weekly basis.
It sounds like you're moving into number 2 already, which sounds like which it sounds like that's number 2. The second step sounds like to me that you're kind of moving right into it, which is to identify the opportunity and make sure you know your numbers, right? Is that are you moving into that one, Nathan? Is that
I am moving into that one. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm excited. Yeah,
that's okay. That's great. I'm glad that, hey, I never hold a good man back. So go ahead and tell us. But so you're saying that a lot of times people don't realize that, we think, hey, I think that marketing is working. Really, exactly what's the return on investment for the thing you're putting out there? So number 2 is to make sure that marketing is an investment. Let's make sure we know what the return on the investment is. Not just, so there's different KPIs. There's different KPIs, which are effort KPIs, which are, did we answer the phone? Did we book the call? That's an effort. The result KPI would be how many conversions in the field and how much money do we make on those calls that come in. So there's different KPIs, but I think the first KPI is to understand what's the potential of lost opportunity that we didn't convert because we didn't answer the phone, or we answered it, but we weren't too busy to really give it a quality look to it. So I think that's really important. Nathan, are you saying that that's something that you specifically provide for those contractors? They don't have to have a second service on that? That if they do take on something like you guys provide that for them?
Yeah, we're kind of almost, I don't want to say a backup to that, because most CRMs are going to have that component in it. We're entering that information for our customers as well, as far as where what marketing what lead gen it's coming into, or tagging it the right way within that CRM. But we're looking at it too within our system to say, okay, this is coming in. You're getting, whether it's from a phone tracking number that we're identifying and saying, okay, these this number of leads they're just not great, right? And maybe don't put your money all in that bucket. I think the good operators out there, when they are starting, are saying, okay, I'm going to allocate my dollars. I'm going to put it in these different areas, figure out which one's the best, give themselves a timeline on it, right? A reasonable timeline. And then after that, they're cutting the ones that aren't doing anything for them, right? Or that they're getting tons of spam calls off of, or whatever that might be.
Well, don't sell yourself short. I mean, when you said that you only do what you can see, but truthfully, for the smaller company who's got the owner with maybe 2 or 3 techs, which is it's probably the vast majority of people. If you look at all the contractors, most of them are that owner operator, maybe him and his wife or whatever, and they got things to do. Maybe the wife has got to go do something, and then he's out there working on a job. Somebody's got to answer the phones, and so that's the kind of thing. So that's a pretty common scenario. So for that, though, even if you did only measure the ones that you took on, that's still pretty important to say that even the service that you provide is paying for itself in some way. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Nathan?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. We equate it to, when we get into jobs booked and the opportunities that are coming out of that, I would just say, for the most part, we're paying for ourselves within the first week of taking on calls and booking estimates, right? It doesn't take long to get that part covered. Obviously through great training, we're developing great relationships on behalf of our customers, right? We're providing really quality service on that, so that customer that's coming in, when that tech gets there, they're already expecting something that's great.
Yeah, well, I think that's great. From what I've seen, you're also creating a great standard, trained people that create a high standard. So in a way, when it just seems like very similar to service MVP, where it's a service that immediately pays for the return on investment. You're going to wait for months to do that. And I think the biggest thing I'm seeing is that you're making yourself kind of indispensable within those companies, and you're not just a vendor. You're kind of part of the company in a way. Does that make sense?
Very, very much. That's how we go about every relationship that we have with our customers, is we view ourselves as an extension of their staff. We're not a Band-Aid solution. We've been hired as that in the past, and it never works out, right? We're never just a kind of a cut over type deal. We are in it for the long haul with our customers. Even if they grow to the point where, they think they're outgrowing us, we still have available solutions to still provide, backup, overflow. We're doing a lot of that right now as it is, with larger companies out there that need that type of support. But yeah, we view all of our customers. We're an extension of them. Our agents get to know these owners really well, or the GMs, or whoever that might be, because they're talking to them, not a daily basis, minute by minute, right? Be a back or phone or whatever that might be. So,
well, and so actually, what is number 3? Let's go into the third thing. What do you think the third thing is? So you got number 1, be available, make sure you got a professional answering the phone. Number 2, let's make sure we know the numbers and make sure what we're trying to achieve, to make sure we can get the return on investment for the marketing and effort we put into the person answering the phone. So that person's not a waste of time. It's somebody who's going to pay for themselves, and we can show them how you can pay for themselves. Number 3, what's the third thing we can do? The third step to improve customer service for a company.
So the third thing is, I think our communication with that company, that doesn't necessarily have to do with the individual one-on-one, our agent talking to their customer, right? We provide a lot of background information, the data, whatever that might be. We have a wonderful senior operations manager. I get very involved with all of our customers as well, but giving them that next set of advice. Okay, what are you guys saying, right? Because we're reviewing everything, right? We're either listening to calls or reading transcripts or whatever that might be. We're analyzing a lot of data. But looking at that and providing, we're not just agents on the phone helping out from that side. We're able to give good analytical information to an owner to say, you know what, hey, you guys need to be doing this better, or whatever that might be. We might be getting a lot of complaints from a tech in the field. We can bring that up. There's a lot of stuff we're doing.
I think what I've seen is that the feedback that you get from your clients, you're interactive with the feedback. Because I think a lot of answering services per se, it's like, yeah, our customer complained because the way your girl answered the phone. It's like, well, that's the best we could do. That was pretty much it, right? Well, it sounds like I'd say Free to Grow is the easiest company I've ever referred to my clients, because in a way, you're just like us. When you get feedback, you're like, okay, let me see if we can change the script on that, or let's see if we can change the way the phrase we have on that one, because maybe that's the thing we're saying. We're kind of learning from the things that are working good. Hey, the customers really liked when you said this, and customers don't like when you say that. Makes sense?
All the time. And that's where, we take an extra step. When we do onboard customers, we do take a longer, time to do it, 2 to 3 weeks typically. We put an SOP together for that customer. Everything is very customized to what they do, their service areas, how, from a scripting perspective, whether we're giving pricing over the phone, which we really don't do. Normally it just has to do around the service fee or call fee, whatever that might be. Sometimes they'll let us do it, but it's completely up to the customer. So we get this customized SOP. All of our agents that are assigned to that account have access to that. We actually went through and developed an AI tool that actually interacts with Slack. So now it's pulling information from that SOP and we're putting it into, or it's coming up for Slack. So our agents are literally just fed this information by asking a quick question right there. And it's obviously it's AI, it's machine learning. So it's getting better, which is creepy. But yeah, it's, so, and we do it on at the drop of a hat, right? We had we had a call.
It's learning. It's like instant learning you're getting there.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And we had we had an SOP change yesterday for a large HVAC company out in Pennsylvania. And I think it was like, within an hour, everything was done and set and kind of the scripting tweaked a little bit and we were ready to go. So
that's great. I think that's, so the third step is really to get feedback from your clients through analytics of different things that are happening, good and bad, and then learn to kind of update the communication you're having with your clients. Would that say that's a fair summary of what we're doing in number 3?
Yeah, I would say so. It's so funny. Whenever we onboard a client, they typically ask, they're like, okay, well, we did this onboarding process. Now, do we have check-in calls? And it's like, of course we have check-in calls, but I don't think they understand how much of a partner that we turn into, as we mentioned earlier. It's like, you're going to be talking to our folks all the time, right? If you don't, we're not just a set it and forget it type deal, right?
Well, I tell you what, Free to Grow, not only is somebody we refer, but in a way, you're become a client of ours. You're investing in our services to make sure the quality control of your employees are up to par. But then we came to us with an idea. Just as a bonus little information here, that this is an exciting thing that Charlie and Nate came to me with about call-by-call management, or call-by-call, lead turnovers and things like that. And we're working on an initiative together to train Charlie's people how to do that as well. Charlie and Nate's people to do that as well. Charlie, would you like to just outline a little bit about what some of the future services you're going to be offering look like? And they're kind of in a beta stage right now, but tell me what are some of the dreams and visions you have for that?
I would say, we're coming out of, I would say we're coming out of the beta stage. This is something that probably moved fairly quickly for us, especially. I think from Charlie, when he attended True Grit, this is really where it came from, okay, can we do a call by call as a service, kind of in the same vein that we do the customer service side, except it's going to be more in depth, right? Where we went out, we found a very good sales guy. He's, in the middle of service MVP training right now. And then he works with specific trades companies in regards to how to get a tech to turn over a lead the right way. And then he will be remote and he will help close this thing out, right? He's providing the 6 options and walking them down the entire path to getting it up and running.
Yeah,
really interesting concept that it's picking up for us, right? One, we're doing it the right way. We're not trying to go too fast into it, but we're about to, we're about to turn the heat up here soon on it too.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you one thing, that's why I'm excited about you talking to you, Nathan. And I can, usually when we start a conversation, we plan it for a certain amount of time, but we usually always go over, because it's so exciting to talk to each other, because we both have so many complementary ideas that come into a fruition of a reality. And I think, like I said before, you kind of bring the training that we have to life. And I thank you for doing all that. And definitely, it's great to have that partnership with you to work on helping contractors become successful. Because truthfully, what I've seen and what I witnessed is that the average contractor who's even in the beta phase has increased their average sale on equipment by way more. Like, they may have been doing 6,000, now they're doing 12,000 on equipment at average sale. And then their service techs feel supported now because they have somebody who can instantly give them a price on the equipment when they're with a customer. And listen, even if you just loosely put that together, there's a super professional way of doing that, and you're building toward that professional way. But I think even you think about just that loose fashion, that that the clients get a better service because they see more service from your guy in a more consistent fashion. You're not overburdened. You're doing it that way, and then the service techs feel supported too. I mean, I think it's both good for the team and good for the clients. Do you think that's what you're seeing so far, Nathan?
Absolutely. I think in the same way that, from our customer service side, we're providing a service to companies that may not have the capacity or the for a full team, and we're providing that to them. This is the same way where they may not be ready for a full on-site sales guy that's going to be doing this. We're able to do that, and they're able to not just save money off of it, make money off of it, right? It's doing great stuff.
And not to spark things the wrong way, but let's say that think of all the different prototypes that, like, obviously the owner who's trying to run a business, but he has to do all these pricing, he could give that job to somebody else, and you wind up, the service pays for itself by the increased revenue that the customers are giving you. So it's not a service that Free to Grow is charging for. It's a service that the clients are paying more for because they're getting better service than the owner could have provided. Number two, think about the different times where owners are being held hostage by a sales guy and they wind up quitting, and then you wind up with no sales guy, and then a Free to Grow can come to the rescue on this and put this in place and rescue those teams too, because this way you don't feel as threatened as a company. And that's the thing that makes me feel good, is that you're giving owners freedom to run their business and freedom to have a life. They schedule all these calls and things for themselves to run this business, but we want to make sure they have the time for their family and things like that too. That's another aspect I think you're bringing to the table, which is you probably don't realize that higher purpose that I think a lot of people are going to get from the service.
Yeah. There's not much better than, be it on that side or the customer service side, when we have someone tell us, well, I was finally able to take a weekend off and not have to worry about things. So yeah, it's great.
Well, Nathan, if somebody wanted to get help from you or Charlie to show what the investment, and obviously have enough analytics to show the return on investment too for this service that your clients will wind up paying for as opposed to you paying for as a contractor, how do they get a hold of you or Charlie to be able to have a discussion about how Free to Grow can help them?
Best way, shoot me an email, Nate at free-2-grow.com. Best way to get a hold of me by far.
Great. Nathan at free-2-grow.com. Nathan, thank you so much, man. A pleasure having you here. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
I did, Joe. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, buddy. Have a great one.
You too.